Welcome to the World United. Welcome to the World United.
Introduce the one who I know as Kynzha, who those of you who see the slide in the name, Eleonora Lyall. So Kynzha was born the 13th child in Bogota, Colombia. Eleanor migrated to Australia in 1969, studying early childhood, married, raising 3 amazing light children who are now creating their lives in Copenhagen, New Zealand, and Melbourne. Kynzha is the public relations person to the soon-to-be Corpate, and if I didn't say it right, you can correct me. I've been practicing. Corpate, Australia. In 1993, after the birth of Eleanor's 3rd child, she came through in learning Reiki and entered a spiritual covenant that had her learn Reiki 2 and receive master symbols from Many Feathers. The death of her mother in 2005 set her on a quickening path, studying yoga with Vishna Gurishi, one at the program called Yoga in Daily Life, working with Grandmother Parisha, learning Nawati medicine and ancestral ways from the first peoples, attending ceremonies with Uncle Max Dulamun Harrison, Uncle Dallas, and Margaret Campbell. It was Uncle Bob Randall whose words and guidance while watching the movie Kanyini reminded Eleanor to return to her birth country after 30 years of Colombia. This set in motion meetings with influential people through her life as she discovered ancient Colombia and studied the ancient ways, which I'll let Kynzha describe how to pronounce some of the words as we go along. She continued learning from many, and Eleanor now works to assist through her gifts of the hummingbird healing ways, through music, dance, art, and song, and with child-free enthusiasm, and I can definitely vouch for that. Now at 62, Eleanor practices spiritual ways from her home and provides healing opportunities for folk, reading and learning. And as she says here, she feels humbled to be part of the festival and in love, light, harmony, and truth. And I hand over to Kynzha. And you have to unmute. I know you love sounds. We want to hear you.
Okay, have I? Sorry. Good afternoon. Firstly, I'd like to pay huge respect to the home that I live on, Garigal Nation. My home is here, and I would like to pay homage to the elders, the spirits, the ancestors, past, present, and emerging. I also like to thank my greatest teachers, my 3 children, which I called my gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And they don't mind whoever is gold or frankincense. They all know each is an incredible gift. And to my husband that I met in high school, who is, I guess, he has seen all of my life unfold from the age of 16. My full name is Janet Eleonora Rosana, and it's Corpo Arte, the company that is soon to become an Australian company, which I like to help the creator of it, Omar Arias. He's a Colombian man who wants to bring music to everyone that cannot learn music or cannot afford it, and like me, cannot read it. So before I do anything, I'm just going to play you a little tune. The hike in the culture of the Muisca is the word, and the word means a rock. A name is a rock, and it's also the character and the path of a person. So when I discovered that, I thought, is that why I'm so hung up on names? Because my parents gave me 3, I thought, goodness, which one. In Colombia, I was Eleonora. I came to Australia and I was Jeanette, and no one could pronounce Montejo, so it was very difficult, and I allowed it. So that was the difficulty. My mother also said, you cannot be Colombian, you have to be Australian. And I didn't know what that was until I went, I think I was age 13, and I went to the Australian Museum, and there was a beautiful elder with white hair telling stories that I just started to dream. And those stories, as I found out later on, that was Burnham Burnham. And then when they were dancing, they invited me. And I think that my transformation began at birth when I got yanked out and my hip got dislocated, and no one noticed it after about 6 months, that my leg was in pain. Oh, sorry, 3 months, not 6, my poor mom. And I was one of 13, so that's very hard for her. And it's in these journeys that we begin to understand what transformation is. It's such a big word, carrying such great responsibility for everyone on earth now in particular. And so with all this, we must look ahead in our generations to come. And it is about our personal demographic. It is about our own vibration. Vibrating, this is why we love bowls, so we can try and emanate that vibration within ourselves. Or I love using this when I try and balance my chakras, in the morning when I wake up, say hello to Grandfather Sun. I humbly appreciate this life that I have been, but I can only appreciate it now at 62 fully. It has been a road of good, bad, ugly, sad, evil in some cases. And I have come to learn that you need to be discerning, and that there is a huge amount of opportunities for all us, and but we need to support each other on the choices that we make. Because all experiences, good, bad, or however they are, we do need to bring them up to the light and offer them, because each one of them is building blocks. I would not where I am now if not being tested. And like Auntie Dot mentioned before, I too, as a teenager, contemplated suicide somehow, and I don't know what. I rescued myself. The only thing that I can think that rescued me was going to the bush in North Sydney. I went down to Blues Point Park, and the trees there were talking to me, and they helped me. And then in Coogee, it was the ocean and that island far away. It was like saying, stay safe. So that blood, sweat, tears, joys, shocks, we do need to learn acceptance, and we do need to learn to be unconditional. I'm so grateful to be called a buffalo heart from Grandmother Parisha, where I met Geraldine and Nuwadi medicine. That was important because it keeps coming back, the quantum learning. Through Vishnagaruchi, I learned the Ganga, I have to flow. You cannot be rigid. And that's an important aspect. And it was during a Yahe, which in Wiskumbun is Yahe, but in everyone knows Yahe is ayahuasca. And I was very scared when Maestra Kynzha, come here, we're going to have an ayahuasca, a Yahe ceremony. I thought, oh, great, what is that? And when I found out it was ayahuasca, oh my goodness, I was so scared. But then I calmed myself down and I allowed it all to happen. And it was from there on that sort of discovering what Kynzha meant. It was the hummingbird. And I needed to come to that, the dancing, the music, the playing of instruments, even though I couldn't read music, the art, like being an artist, who knew I could paint, to sing, all this took its time, and it was hit and miss, and people went there to help me, and it all cost so much, and so it was up and down, and looping the loop, defying the ground, but you make it. And it's all those helpful quantum physics studies and learning going back, and the teachings of Julian Millman Harrison, which I have his amazing book here. You know, being welcomed to country here as a Colombian woman by his ceremony, that was, to me, was like rebirthing, and it was a miracle. Having people like Rudolf Steiner with the knowledge of higher worlds, reading this and becoming that and embodying it. Having this Louise Hay, you can hear your life, so you can check things out and look at yourself every day until finally you get given this beautiful book by your children and you start something called journaling. And then the beauty is when at 62, which I am now, I go, oh, I remember, I wrote this down, and I start referencing my own work. I'm not one of the ego, I'm very humble, but I just think, wow, did I do that? Oh my goodness, look at that photo of me. Boy, did I look like that? Oh, that was when I had short hair. You know, wow. And that was at Machu Picchu. All these sorts of things are part of this building block. But it was Uncle Bob Randall who said to me, the land owns you, Kynzha. Go to Colombia, find your roots. Now, he didn't say Kynzha at the time, he said, you know, Eleonora. But I know that it was that I bought the ticket, I did it. It was the first time I used my credit card. I had to do it. And that was good because I found out that I was unique. But I had to discover that through all that blood, sweat, and tears. And that I am a work of art. But you have to work at that. And you've got to work at it. Every minute of every day, of every second, of every moment. And that we are tiny little quirks in a giant puzzle, a web of life. That we are part of this mind of Creator. And finding my unique path was what I needed to do because I had come from a lot of agony in the Christianity in Colombia and at home, with so many negative things coming out of it for me. So walking the talking was something I learned. Walking with reverence and respect and humility. And the power is in our minds. As I wake up in the morning and I ask for clarity in the East and unity, every day I have to do this. And every day, my thinking, I ask for harmony. And I do that in the South, where I've asked for truth and purity and humility. Some days are good, some days are bad. You do your best. And you have to forgive yourself. That's very important. And I learned that. And every day there's ideas. So we seek spirit for that silence. And I know it's hard for a Colombian to keep quiet, but I have learned. For goal setting and introspection. Yes, we all have opinions, but you know they matter not. Because we really need to learn not to judge each other and criticize. And we need to be active in self-recovery, self-discovery, and most of all, self-forgiving. Because by the end of all this search is the topic that I quickly wanted to talk about, is the universal and spiritual laws that I discovered under Chief Golden Light Eagle and Many Feathers. This teaching, they taught me about that I was a starry self. How beautiful. And then that I have a solar family and I have an earth family and I have an inner family of these organs that I have to take care of and I'm repairing. So yes, I don't drink alcohol anymore and I am a vegetarian by choice. And now and again, I bless a piece of fish and I say thank you. Because I need it. And I'm grateful for the fish clan that are there for me. And I love music because I think that's the best connection to spirit, singing. And that's why I like to bring it, whether in circles or in session or here, in every way that I can. But those laws are vital. The spiritual laws that I pray every morning in the north and the east, there's 6 of them there, universal laws. in the South and the West, the spiritual laws that I pray on each day. Every day of the week has got an important spiritual or universal law. And the moon, the grandmother moon, the faces. I mean, today is Saturn Day. It's Antikarana Day. And it's the universal law of unity. Woo! And we're unifying here in this Zoom section. So we do need changes, but we must be wise and look into the 9 generations even further. And we've had the youth talking today, and I heard them, beautiful. They're just magical. And we do need to change these systems. So these starry children, this starry youth, hey, this new starry elder would like to be a part of it. You know, we're all transforming. We're all changing. And we do need to embed these beautiful things that are all around into our self. So in the Lakota, people say, when they say goodbye, they say mitakuya oya sin, which means we're all related. So with that, I don't know what the time is. My husband is my timer. He tells me how much long I've got. So
You've done perfectly. That's a perfect voice right there. Yes.
You want to hear my flute again? This was made by a beautiful man who's passed. He only made 5, and I'm privileged to have one. And very quickly too, I meant to show you these 2 videos. These are from the Kogi. They had 2 messages. And the one before about a Luna is very important because they specifically talk about why there's climate change. And it began because people destroy sacred sites. You know, the Kogi speak about the gold threads that combined us, which is the same as the indigenous here, First Nation is speaking about songlines. But the gold threads, they're vital. They cannot be touched. They cannot be touched. Aho. Amen.
Beautiful. And Kynzha, if you want to send links where people can find those videos, we can add them to your bio on the Global Transformation Festival website. So anyone who's listening and live streaming now or watching later, you can go to the website and find information on those. That was a beautiful journey sharing with the music and, you know, the practicality of journaling. I love that. That allows you to be your own wisdom guide as well as the great examples that you gave us. So I appreciate that.